Not all probiotics are created equal. New Purina Systemic Supplement remains live and active after the pelleting process and throughout the digestive system, making it all the way to the hind gut. Systemic was designed to support normal recovery after exercise and occasional gastrointestinal stress. Whether you're using a probiotic now or not, it's time to use a live and active supplement from a name you trust. Visit mq.purinamills.com to try a Purina Systemic Probiotic Supplement today. Are you a horse owner? Get exclusive discounts on brands like John Deere and Big Ass Fans with equine discounts. If you're a paying member of any equine association, you qualify. And as an added bonus, a percentage of every sale through equine discounts is returned to the equine industry. Go to equinediscounts.com to receive your discounts.
All the articles you have come to love in Equus magazine are now available in this podcast, Equus on Audio. Each article is released as its own separate episode to make them quick and easy to listen to. Search Equus on Audio to subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and you'll never miss an article.
This article was posted on August 29th, 2023. It was written by Christine Barakat and is titled, "For a Harmonious Herd, Provide Enough Space." Although the positive effects of turnout have long been known, a new study from Ohio suggests that to fully benefit from being on pasture, horses need room to roam. Researchers at the Ohio State University Agricultural Technical Institute found a minimum of 342 square meters, the equivalent of about 1/10 of an acre per horse, is needed to reduce stress and minimize aggressive behaviors in the herd. "My students actually prompted the study," says Jessica Swaji-Bador, Ph.D. "They were working on facility management plans, and someone asked me, 'How large do I make the dry lot?' I said, 'Let's search the literature and equine extension and see what we find.' We really didn't find much at the time, so we designed a study to try to start answering that question." She adds that the study focused only on the amount of space needed to reduce stress in a herd, rather than to support grazing. 2 acres per horse is the generally accepted minimum to support healthy pasture growth and adequate nutritional intake. The research was based on 12 mature, healthy horses who were familiar with each other. In the first stage of the study, each horse's flight zone was determined. While one horse ate his feed ration, a second horse was led toward him until he began to show signs of aggression, such as pinned ears or turning the rump. Then the researchers measured the distance between the 2 horses. On average, the horses each had a flight zone measuring about 10.4 meters, roughly 33 feet. This figure was then used to calculate the total amount of space a horse would need in any direction to avoid contact with another horse. That area was 342 square meters. For the second phase of the study, the horses were kept in pens of various sizes and observed for signs of physiological stress. They were divided into 3 groups of 4, 2 geldings and 2 mares, and then turned out for an hour into one of 3 pens, one measuring 342 square meters per horse, another measuring 263 square meters per horse, and one that provided 184 square meters per horse. Researchers drew blood from the horses prior to turnout, then again 15 and 60 minutes after turnout. They also monitored the herds for signs of aggressive behaviors, such as chasing or kicking. When not in the study pens, the horses were kept in individual stalls. The data showed the horses kept in the pens that allowed 342 square meters per horse had reduced levels of blood cortisol, a hormone associated with stress, 15 and 60 minutes after turnout. In contrast, cortisol levels did not decrease in horses turned out in the smaller pens, and they displayed aggressive behaviors more frequently. The data collected during the 1-hour study time may not paint a complete picture of the stresses a horse restricted to a cramped space for longer periods of time may experience, says Swaji-Bador. Cortisol is a diurnal hormone and develops a cyclical pattern around sleeping and eating routines, she says. In chronically stressed horses, cortisol will remain high and not develop a pattern. We would need to investigate cortisol concentrations over a 24-hour period to know if these findings apply. Also, since horses would have to be fed twice during that 24/7 window, I would assume that aggression scores would go up in the small pen whenever feed would be introduced. Swaji Bador says the findings may have also been different if the horses had not been familiar with each other. I can say through personal experience that horses that are very friendly with each other tend to get along better, but my study wasn't designed to answer that question. While larger turnout areas are clearly less stressful for horses, Swaji Bador acknowledges that it's not always possible to provide more space. It would be nice to study the time it takes for horses to adapt to a smaller paddock size, she says. For instance, maybe interactions and stress responses change after a number of days or weeks. If I only had smaller spaces, I would do smaller groups, because that minimizes the number of possible interactions. A timid horse only has to avoid one other horse.
Sick of fly sprays that smell terrible, don't work, and are full of toxic ingredients? Try Bye Bye Insects from Spalding Labs. Their science-backed botanical fly spray is effective, smells great, and is formulated for horses and people. Switch to a fly spray you can feel good about and keep the bugs at bay. Learn more at spalding-labs.com.